Hello. Thank you for having me here today. The last time I was in Goa was in my role in creative director of BBDO, and we used to come to India a lot, and it's a place I love coming to and coming back to. But since then I've gone and run different creative departments, as was mentioned. But right now I'm the Chief Creative Officer of MoFilm. And what I call is the biggest creative department in the world. At MoFilm, we have a creative department of over 65,000 filmmakers. And we work with some of the biggest brands in the world, over 100 of the biggest brands in the world. And what we do for them is we make content, all different types of content, be it television, webisodes, documentaries, short films, or web series. The simple basis way of MoFilm works is a client, like a Coca-Cola, gives us a brief, we place it on the website, and these young filmmakers from over 140 countries around the world download the brief, go and shoot a film out of their own pocket, upload the brief, and present them to the biggest brands in the world, who choose 5 films that they can use wherever they want. But I suppose when you work in a company that makes content, the best way to describe this is with content.
Here we go! New Mountain Dew commercial. Crime thriller. We're at the station. Mayor's held for ransom. We already made the drop! Answer it! Detective Jones here! Yes, right away!
Mr. Smith?
No time. We take to the streets! We dodging cars! We run into traffic lights! It's crazy!
All units report to 4th and Liberty! Over!
I slide across the hood of the car to save 1.2 seconds of time! Hoo-ha! Open the door! We open the door, and there you are, the mayor. You have a time bomb strapped to your chest.
Is that a real bomb?
Quick! Evacuate all pedestrians!
You know, this is...
Get a hold of yourself. 15 seconds! Enter the bomb squad!
Excuse me, ma'am.
Oh, great. Need to think here. Is it the blue wire or the red wire or the green?
5, 4, 3, 2. Bombs defused, I saved the day, I chugged the dew. End of commercial. What do you think?
You're in the wrong office.
Okay, here we go.
So that was a film, and the way that worked is, the brief from Mountain Dew was, they said, we want filmmakers to pitch us some ideas. So we said, make a film that pitches your idea to Mountain Dew. And that was a film that the director, they went and shot on their own, and they sent it in to us. And as a result of that, Mountain Dew used that commercial and interacted with their consumers, where they asked consumers to actually write a pitch idea for Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew, with those directors, went and made more films. But over the last 3 years, we've made over 15,000 films with our filmmaking community, films like that. At the end of the day, why we're so excited about this is that we believe that this is probably best described as the democratization of creativity. Thanks to the fact of the internet making these briefs available to everyone in the world, with the technology such as cameras that now are accessible to all young filmmakers around the world, like the Red, and editing material that comes standard on all computers, or especially Macs, any filmmaker can actually make a finished film of broadcasting quality. And I was reading an article on Rahul Gandhi, whose whole positioning was, let's remove the elite from the situation, let's move the big production company, and provide the opportunity for the everyday person in the street to actually have a chance, these great filmmakers, to show their creativity. Francis Ford Coppola said in 1991, in his film Heart of Darkness, that some little girl, fat girl in Ohio is going to make a beautiful movie with her father's camcorder. And the reality of that is that these films can be made by that little girl in Ohio. And I think that's one of the most exciting opportunities for creatives around the world and brands around the world who have a chance to tap into this creativity. We do a lot of work with PlayStation around the world, in Latin America, in Europe, and in America. And one of the things we're going to be involved with is the launch of the new PlayStation platform coming out soon. And so we ran a competition and we posted a brief to our community of what would you do with PlayStation to make life being a gamer even more epic. And this was a film that was shot by a young lady in Denmark that we think captures what MoFilm is all about, in the sense of we provide you with a stage to demonstrate the work you do. Just to explain, that's not done by a big production company. That's done by an individual who was working with her friends and the people she collaborated with in an old theatre. It was shot within 2 days, and the whole process took less than 6 weeks to make that commercial. As I said, we're working with PlayStation around the world on their new launch. And what that means is that filmmakers like yourself, creative people like yourself, have a chance to make PlayStation ads that are seen around the world. So that's what we're all about. And that's what the exciting thing is about the internet and about technology today, is that what we're doing is giving creative people a stage. MoFilm just facilitates between our brands and our community of filmmakers to give them the opportunity to present their work in the boardrooms of Coca-Cola, Unilever, Procter & Gamble, PlayStation, Chevrolet around the world. And that to us is a really exciting thing, because there is so much talent out there. So here's 2 examples. This is, the next one is an example for Coca-Cola. And this film was shot by a 24-year-old filmmaker in Wellington in New Zealand. The brief that was put up is a brief that I'm sure you all know, is the Happiness Brief. And the brief was very much make a film about someone spreading happiness on a particular day. So Coca-Cola wanted to bring to life an event, be it Diwali, Valentine's Day, Christmas Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day. And this is a film that a young filmmaker, Hugh Mitten, made. And he sent to MoFilm, and when Coca-Cola saw it, on February the 14th this year, they played this film on American Idol, the biggest broadcasting show in America. And Hugh, from Wellington, New Zealand, found his stage. I think it's an amazing film that he captured the whole essence of Coca-Cola and Valentine's Day, and as I said, it ran all around the world. Now, Hugh shot that film in a day, and the total production budget of that film was $1,250. And that's him, but he had freedom of creativity here. And that's what we're talking about with democratization of creativity. Coca-Cola didn't give Hugh a script. They gave him a brief. He never sent us a script saying, we open on some balloons as they fly down. He sent us that finished film. And that finished film ran without any edits on broadcast. So what the opportunity is for filmmakers like Hugh is, you as a filmmaker, you as a creative, get to make the film that you want to make. And again, you know, when I worked at Grey, the last project I worked on, there were 27 people between the marketing director and the filmmaker. And by the time you go down through the chain of the client and then across the chain of the agency and back up the chain of production, that's 24 people who actually don't make any decisions, they just give an opinion. And they add a lot to the process. And at MoFilm, there's three. There's Hugh, there's MoFilm, and there's Jonathan Miltonhall. And that's where the decision goes. And I think, again, it's a real lesson as someone coming from an agency world, how simplifying the process, how putting the power in the hands of the creative produces really fresh, really interesting, and remarkably so on-brand work. And I think we should be liberating creatives like that rather than coupling them and holding them down. Possibly for an advertising person, the biggest stage you can possibly ever have in the world is Super Bowl. Every year, I think the viewing of the commercials is starting to outweigh the viewing of the game, and there's such a buzz around it. And Chevrolet came to us, and we did a lot of work with Chevrolet, and Chevy said to us, okay, we want to give MoFilm a spot on the Super Bowl. Now, spots on the Super Bowl, just the media alone run into millions. And then it becomes like this huge competition about who can make the best ad, who can make the biggest ad, and everyone votes. And so there were agencies that work with Chevrolet that had 5 spots, and MoFilm had 1 spot. And a 24-year-old guy straight out of film school in Rhode Island made this film.
A blindfold, Mom? Really? Is this necessary?
Happy graduation, sweetie!
I can't believe you got me this car! Amazing!
Status update.
Best day of my life!
I'm calling Grandma. Grandma.
Should we tell him that?
No, let him tire out first.
Jogger, check out my sweet ride!
How can you jog
When you can drive!
Not yet. He's losing steam. Just let it run its course.
Marry me right now!
So marrying you right now!
We're getting married!
This is the best day of my life!
Hey, Steve.
Best gift ever!
Love the car.
Best gift ever! Woo! Best gift ever! Yes! Best gift ever! Love you guys so much! Best thing ever!
Hey! Mr. Johnson just stole my car!
As the CEO of Chevrolet said to the dealer convention when he stood on stage and presented that, best ad ever. But what was great for Zach, the director, was when Super Bowl ran and the ad meter went up there, and everyone kind of says, which is the best ad, which is the best ad? His ad came in the top 10, which is like phenomenal, and actually beat out every other Chevrolet ad. And again, I think he went over budget. He spent about $1,800 to make that film. Right? But what's exciting about it is that's the stage that we can give filmmakers and give creative people. And actually, there'll be another Super Bowl spot this year for Chevrolet. And there's no reason why someone from India shouldn't make a film, a production company, anyone, any creative, make a film that could actually run in the Super Bowl. And as you can imagine with Zach, he got written up in every single magazine in America as, is he the next big thing? You know, it's like this guy's gone from Rhode Island Film School to Steven Spielberg in the space of a 30-second spot, a 60-second spot. So I think it's really exciting, and it really is opportunity for creatives. But we work with a lot of clients and directly with a lot of clients, but we also work very closely with agencies. And for us, and a lot of you in this audience who come from agency world, we believe that MoFilm and this community is a resource that actually gives agencies a stage as well, and gives agencies a real opportunity to actually tap into a much wider creative community. When I would pitch an idea in agency world, I know, clients and agency people amongst you, kind of you do this huge presentation, say, and the big idea is this, and you then cover the walls with thousands of executions, and you could do this, and you could do this, and you could do this, and in year 2053 we could run this one, right? And the client goes, that's fantastic, I love it, you win, you're so excited. The client comes in the next week and says, well, we can afford to do that one, and maybe down the end of the year we can do that one. And all this great work that this great idea has and the potential, the consumer never sees, and the audience never sees, and the client never sees, and the creators never get to make. So we work with a lot of agencies, and I would divide the type of agencies that we work with, not into creative and non-creative. I'd divide them into agencies that are open and agencies that are closed. And agencies that are open are people who just embrace the idea of, look at the potential of tapping into a network of filmmakers that I could do to bring my idea to life. As a creative director, you direct creatives. And therefore, the wider the creative audience, the more exciting it is. So here's a couple of films that we did. This film, Nestea, we did with Ogilvy in Paris. And we were working with Nestea directly. And then Nestea said, look, why don't you we're looking for a new campaign, and why don't you work with Ogilvy? And this idea was all about, you have Nestea here, I gather, I'm sure. And the idea for Nestea in Europe or around the world was it was something new. And they had this line, try something different. So we work with them in developing a filmmaker brief. And it's really important that we talk the difference here between an advertising brief and a filmmaker brief. When we first started MoFilm, what would happen is Mr. Client would come along, give us his marketing brief, we'd post it on the website, and then we'd expect these young filmmakers to be marketing people, then strategists, then planners, then creatives, and then by the time they got to it after being a producer, to be a director. And as you can imagine, that's a hell of a lot to ask from any one person, let alone a young filmmaker. So what we've done is turn these briefs into filmmaker briefs. So the way the briefs work is, rather than, it's kind of example I would give you is, if I told you, tell me a funny joke, well, I always find you'd be lost of which is the joke, which is the right joke, etc. But if I said to you, why did the chicken cross the road? Every one of you has your version of that. And to me, that's a humorous structure that we're looking for. So in the Nestea example, what we said was try something different. So we set up a structure where the protagonist, the hero, walks into a room, he kind of randomly picks out a Nestea, he tastes it, yep, that's different, and then he does this random thing of spinning a bottle. And then it was up to the filmmaker to tell whatever story, to put whatever options that this guy might do in order to continue trying something different. So this is one of the films we got back.
The refreshing taste of tea and fruit. Nestea, the start of something different.
So that was one of 10 films that Nestea ended up buying from that competition. And now with Ogilvy, that range of 10 films is being selected by different markets all around the world. I think we've spoken a lot about digital today and the need to be fresh and different. And you know, in a model like this, if you get 10 films back, you have the chance to actually run this one in this market, or this one to this target audience, or just keep rotating films. And it's just a way of coming fresh. And you know, we've really worked closely with Ogilvy to do that. The next one is for HTC, and we work with an agency in London called Mother. Have any of you seen the Freefall fashion show? There's an amazing film done by Mother and HTC where they threw a photographer and a fashion model out of an aeroplane, and then used the camera, the phone, to take photographs as the model worked. It was an amazing, big budget, huge impact, great social resonance around the world. So Mother came to us and said, do you know what we now need to do? Because their campaign is all about endorsed by. I think they have the same campaign I saw on a poster here. But that's the type of campaign that you need to demonstrate just rather than claim. So what they did is they had certain markets around the world. I know they wanted China, Brazil, Singapore, Australia, and European markets. And they said, we need executions for those markets. And what we did was we got 20 filmmakers sent proposals back in of their challenge that they'd like to do with the HTC. And actually there was one of them from India that I loved, which was the Wall of Death. You know, the motorbike that goes around, the Wall of Death. And they actually filmed, you know, one guy on a motorbike taking photographs, like a director, and the other one, the motorbike going around at 60 kilometers an hour. And that was an amazing film. But this is another film that actually won that competition, where our filmmaker brought to life a different way.
Hi, I'm Josh Issam, and I'm going to use this phone, the HTC One, to shoot a human painting project. I'm a painter living and working in the city of Philadelphia. I have an art opening next month, and I want to experiment using a new medium. Instead of painting pictures of people on canvas, I'm going to turn people into my canvas. I'm converting my parents' garage into a makeshift studio back in Jersey. Using the HTC One, I'll shoot 4 photos per second to capture the paint as it is shot and thrown on the model.
Air is going to enter this chamber and go out this valve, and through this barrel it's going to shoot out the paint. Fine.
I'm not worried.
Dude, look at that. It's so sick. Supply list. 2 paint cannons, 14 gallons of paint, 12 pounds of colored powder, and the HTC One.
I hope the power's not too strong.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I'm just calling to let you know that if I don't make it tonight, I really love you, and wanted to thank you for that train set you gave me for my 5th birthday. All right, bye.
The HTC One is recommended by me, Josh Issam.
So I think you know, what you'll see is that different films have different roles. So this film very much wanted real, they wanted documentary, they wanted real authentic stories of these photographers. It couldn't feel like advertising, it had to feel authentic. And we do a lot of documentaries because what happens is that I think we're all aware, you know, we make a campaign and we make ads, but then when it gets to social level and when it gets to on the ground, you know, a campaign has to be believable and have integrity. So the next campaign I want to share was something we did for Bacardi. And Bacardi had done a campaign, I'm not sure if it ran here in India, but called It All Started with a Bacardi Party. And the essence of that is when people get together and they drink Bacardi, they start chatting and they come up with an idea and they go off and save the world, all right? Sounds like every other day in a creative department. And basically what they needed, and that advertising campaign went out and it had to be a global advertising campaign, but what they used the Mo Film community for was they said, okay, you have 65,000 filmmakers around the world in 140 countries, and they must know a whole lot of other creative people, because creative people know creative people. So we want to put out a brief to your filmmakers to go and find stories about people who came together and created something, and we want you to document that and bring that to life. And then they ran, I think about 10, 15 of these films on the site as part of the social campaign, and in fact, it got a lot more resonance and likes and usability, etc., than the advertising campaign. So this is one I absolutely love. These guys are for real. This is the Decentralized Dance Party.
The Decentralized Dance Party is a new way for people to come together and enjoy music in their public spaces. Growing up in a small town in Canada, it's basically a fun vacuum. Our only option was to go out at night and create our own good times. We ended up at this house party. We plugged my first iPod into my boombox, and the crowd just transformed. Everyone started going crazy, and that's where this spawned. The idea was to throw the craziest parties we could. Well, when we started out, it was just friends running around. Within 6 months, we were partying with 2,000 people. Just kept getting bigger and bigger. How it works, we got the Power Glove connected to the iPod. The FM transmitter beams the music out to all the stereos. For 1,000 people, you need 100 boom boxes. We've had crowds of 20,000. You gotta have as many crazy costumes as you can. You gotta have the best party music around. You gotta have dancing. Everyone's gotta get moving.
You come across people who have no idea what it is, and they get swept up in it. They grab a boombox and they're part of it for the rest of the night.
My name is Tom. My name is Gary. And this is the Decentralized Dance Party!
The entire city came together. There were tons of people of all kinds of backgrounds. Punks, nerds, and jocks just dancing. From the beginning, I've had the vision that it would spread worldwide. We need to get more people partying. ASAP.
So I always love that, I want a power glove. Just think that kind of in controlling all those people. But that was a documentary. That was shot, they weren't cast those people. That happened in that place, and these guys documented it. And again, that filmmaker made that film out of his own pocket, and because he believed that would be a great story for Bacardi. And as a result of that, he won prize money, he got to a trip, but most importantly, his film was shown around the world, and he got the stage that he deserved. So a lot of the things we talk about are kind of variations on themes we've all spoken about, but again, MoFilm's a resource, so kind of the think global, execute local. And this is a film from India. We work very closely with Manchester United and Chevrolet are about to become the Manchester United sponsors. And the idea we gave our filmmaker community here was Chevrolet sponsored MoFilm. Chevrolet do sponsor MoFilm. Chevrolet sponsored Man United, and the brief was 2:59 at Old Trafford. And what we wanted to do was capture the last minute before kickoff at Old Trafford that Manchester United did. And we wanted to bring, and we got over 100 films for this, for films all around the world. And this was one from India that actually won. And the filmmaker not only won his prize and got his ad run, he got a trip to Manchester United to Old Trafford.
Manchester United.
No, not again.
Esto es de Kiko.
So the filmmaker was Rahul Patil, and he just happened to be a huge Man United supporter, and he happened to meet Wayne Rooney at Old Trafford, and I think it was probably the best thing. I don't know if you can hear it, but I feel like there's fireworks going off outside. Are we okay? We're not gonna... The ideas are so powerful that it blows any speakers. The next one is actually the reverse of what we just spoke about. This one is called Think Local, kind of Execute Global. And this was a brief we did with Durex in China. And Durex in China came to us and said to us, it was one of the most bizarre briefs I've worked on. They said, we love your model. We need lots and lots of content for China because 18 to 25-year-olds in China don't watch television. You can do whatever you want. And you kind of go, oh my God, the worst thing a client can ever say to me is, we trust you, do what you want. And particularly when you're working with condoms. So we started kind of thinking about, okay, what is it that we want? And we said, do you have any research? And they sent us this research book of sexual behaviors. Is everyone okay down there? Yeah. And they sent us a global research study on sexual behaviors of teens and adults. And we found this one question about planning sex. And the statistic was that 78% of all sexual activity around the world is planned. So our brief to the filmmaker was, make a film about one of the other 22%. And the tagline was, be prepared. So, but one of the things that the client did say to me is, I want to use Chinese talent. And when our filmmakers are all around the world, they said, so therefore maybe we should only use Chinese filmmakers. We said to them, look, we'll get some Chinese filmmakers and we'll reach out to them, but why not do it global, but just say the talent had to be Chinese? And what I want to show you is 3 different films that were made. And actually none of these were made in China. Of the 35 films they bought, only 2 were made in China.
你确定你准备好了？
我不知道啊，我只是想完美。
我也是。
我们怎么知道什么是完美呢？
我不知道啊。
我们要去度假了。
Driving to you. Don't you know that there's something to be said, for losing my own head. Don't follow the sweetest things, honey, that's the first thing that you said. So I took that picture of you and hung it low, and put my friend McFerrin's song on the stereo. And there was something that I meant to do, darling, but you took me by surprise.
So, look, I think what's great is you have an instant campaign in 8 weeks. So by the time that the client briefed us, then the filmmakers have 4 to 6 weeks to make the films, send them to us, they're 100% cleared for use, and 2 weeks later you have a global campaign. And so for any creatives in the room, or agencies, or production companies who would like to work on Durex, there's a competition coming up for our Cannes competition, so you get to win a trip to Cannes. And the brief is very simple. Have you ever played in a restaurant or cafe where you sit at one table and you look over at someone else at another table and you kind of make up what their story is? And you kind of just go around the room going, I bet you that person's this and that person this. So Durex's mission is great sex moves you, and that it's available for everybody. And so the brief is simply, we want filmmakers. This is the way it works. We write a brief for filmmakers. Said, we want you to make a film. The line for the film, the brief and the line on the film is, someone in this room is enjoying great sex, right? And what we want filmmakers to do is just film a room. Could be in a cafe, it could be in a restaurant, it could be in a bus stop, it could be in a room like this. I could literally put up someone in this room is enjoying great sex, and it just immediately makes you look differently about everyone. Thank God the lights are down and I can't exactly see you all. But, and then we want people to just go and film that and tell great character stories and great narratives, and then choose one of the people in the room and do their backstory of what happened to them before they came to the restaurant cafe. And the client said to me, said, look, we love this. It's democratization of sex. I'm going, yeah, it's true in a way. And they said, we could even do one in a retirement home. And that just brings images to my head that I think some filmmaker is there to bring to life. But so there's a brief for you that everyone are welcome to go and do it. But as I said, our role and our only reason to be, we're not an agency, we don't do posters, we don't do print, we don't do DM, we don't do websites, everything, we just make content. And more and more clients and brands and agencies are asking us to make longer form content. So we've shown you here today some digital content, some mobile content, etc. But more and more we're going and making long form short stories, which for a filmmaker is just like a dream come true. And what I want to share with you is a campaign we've just done for the Unilever brand Cornetto ice creams, yeah? And basically the idea that we generated for this was that Cornetto around the world is all about love. And what we said is what the world really loves is not lovers, but a love story. And but to do a love story, you need to have longer than 30 seconds. And so what we did is we created this idea called Cupidity. And the premise was that take an office, like an agency office full of people, an accountancy office, a bookkeeping office, a client office. And what we're going to do is imagine you staff that office not with bookkeepers or accountants, but you staff them with Cupids. And what we wanted to do in each film is the Cupid is briefed to connect this girl with this boy, or this girl with this girl, or wherever way it goes. And out of that, we made 4 films, fully funded by the client. And this is a trailer of the films as they break around the world.
Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be in love.
Lo and behold your mother.
It's funny, what the world really loves is not a lover, but a love story.
You are a low moon, steady with wind.
8 lovers, 4 stories, and some very wise cupids. This is Cupidity. Enjoy the ride. Love the ending.
So that's a trailer, and each of those films in there, there are 4 stories, they're each 10 minutes long, and again, working with the directors, the client said, first of all, the client said, we're sick of paying money to try and get people who aren't watching television to watch our ads. So we said, why don't you make films that they want to watch by their own choice as a different way of working? And they so embraced it. I've actually got this recorded where we came up with Cupidity and said what the Cupid can do is use an ice cream to bump into someone and they literally, the marketing director said, one thing we will mandate is no product in the film. Right? And I'm going, really? But they took it seriously. And we also said to them, when you're working with these directors who come up with these ideas, you can't change the script. You're not going on the shoot. We're not going on the shoot. Here's the budget, go and do it. Now, and it's been so successful. And what's really cool is, again, creative people have creative friends. And the soundtrack is by some of the best indie bands in America and UK. And now the client is actually making CDs and DVDs out of the soundtrack. And we're just working now, turning what started off as short films for Cornetto, we're turning into music videos for the band using the footage, and MTV's going to run as music videos. So we're promoting the bands, which then promote the film. And now in Italy, the Italian market is cutting down the films into 30-second ads and call to action. So suddenly, making stuff, which is what this is all about, is really, really exciting. So as I said, it's democratization of creativity. We're at a world now, a flat world, where all the apartheid, the barriers of production costs, the barriers of technology, the barriers of access to great brands and famous brands is gone. And now it's just up to how good is your idea, how good is your execution, how good is your talent, but most importantly, you the creative, you the agency, you the filmmaker, make the film that you want to do. We don't want to see scripts, we want to see finished films. And that to me is the purity of all this. We don't do voting. Like, there's no voting involved in MoFilm. This is a business-to-business site where the filmmakers are one business, they upload to the film, no one else can see them, except for the client. And the client decides which films are right for them. You know, we just don't believe in voting. It's not a popularity competition or who's got the most friends or who's got the, can get call centers to ring up and vote for their films. This is about which film the client believes is the right film for them. Because what we want is, we know we can make great content, we want content that's useful and the brands use so the filmmakers get famous. So, Jean Cocteau said, film will only become an art when its materials as inexpensive as pen and paper. And that, in reality, is what's happening today. And that's what's so exciting to me. Now, I just want to finish on another film that came in a competition just recently by another filmmaker. His name is Santosh Matani, and he worked on a Smirnoff film. And this project is Smirnoff around the world's positioning is the spirit of inventiveness. And what they ask filmmakers to do is come up with stories about people that are incredibly inventive. And Santosh came across this group of filmmakers in India, and Smirnoff loved it so much, they are crawling over us to make this into something much bigger, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
मालेगांव शहर सबसे ज़्यादा अगर किसी चीज़ के लिए अगर नामचीन हो चुका है आज की डेट में तो सिर्फ फिल्में देखते नहीं, फिल्में जीते हैं, फिल्में सीखते हैं और फिल्में बनाते हैं। किसी के पास पैसा नहीं, मैं टैक्सी चलाता हूँ, मेरा मेकअप मैन है वो पावर लूम में काम करता है, मेरा कैमरा मैन है वो लूम में काम करता है, एक्टर है वो चाय बेचता है। हम ट्रॉली की जगह हमारी साइकिल यूज़ करते हैं, ट्रेन की जगह हमारे पास गांव में बैलगाड़ियाँ होती है, बैलगाड़ियाँ यूज़ करते हैं। तो ये चीज़ हमने ईजाद की, हमको किसी ने भी बताया नहीं। और लोग आते हो हमारी गांव की अपनी फिल्म समझ के देखते हैं, हर किसी को अपना थोड़ा कुछ पैसा भी मिल जाता है, जो हमारा पैशन है हम इस तरह से उसे भी पूरा कर लेते हैं। सपना तो ये है कि एक दिन हमें ऑस्कर मिल जाए बस।
So Smirnoff absolutely love this, and what they're going to do is they're going to give the filmmaker and that group that are featured in there a sizable budget and they're going to back them to make a film. And then they're going to make a documentary about them making that film. And to me, this is the spirit of MoFilm. This is people who turn a cart into a crane and a chair into a dolly are the type of people the creative community at MoFilm are all about. They don't need big budgets. They don't need, time or people. They need just their ideas and their inventiveness and their spirit to go and make stuff. And that to us is what's so exciting. And for us, India now there's the third largest number of filmmakers on the MoFilm site comes from India. And one of the reasons why I was so excited to come here is India to me is about that spirit of inventiveness. And why shouldn't someone from India make a film that wins the Super Bowl competition? And that would be our dream. And that would be for us the huge opportunity. So I think you'll be delightfully surprised by the quality of our work on this assignment. I crowdsourced it. And I think that every one of you we would welcome to participate in MoFilm. Go to the website, mofilm.com, download the briefs, win a trip to Cannes and some money, etc., but win the opportunity to have a stage. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for having me, and we're very excited to be part of the Indian community.
Let me start picking up one or two of these questions instead of asking my own. This is an interesting question. As brands are getting changed and evolving constantly through consumer intervention, like what you did, how does one protect the integrity of the brand? And this is coming from Priyanka Goti from Nestle.
Oh, very good. So at the end of the day, it's the brief that needs to capture the brand essence. And so when we do a brief, it's very much, this is the background, this is the insight, this is what we want you to do as a filmmaker, and here are the mandatories. And very much brands, what's again interesting, because the filmmaker wants their brand to be selected or they don't win, they're incredibly accommodating. When I used to run creative departments, you'd say, well, you have to show a can of Campbell's soup in this. And creators go, oh, you're limiting me, I can't do that, I can't put the product in the ad, etc., etc. These filmmakers go, oh, okay, so how do I work around this? And what I think, to the person who asked the question from Nestle, what I think our clients are most amazed with is that how often the filmmakers capture the essence of the brand, and how they just intuitively know what the brand is rather than it being overthought. And remember, if you get 50 films back on each brief, say, 10 of them are going to be way off, right? 20 of them may be kind of in the area but boring. And the last 20 are spot on. So it's the client that is actually judging what's right and wrong. And we invariably find clients come back for the reason that they just sit there and go, this guy understands my brand. I haven't gotten in the way and overthought it. And I think we'll show a Coke film later on where I think that's one of the case in point.
Okay. This one again is coming from the audience here. Behind every selected creative, there will be so many unselected in this model. How do you keep all those unselected ones motivated and incentivized to keep doing films and make this a potential career? This comes from Datta Prasad, Herald Publication, Goa.
So all we can do is provide the stage, provide the opportunity for people to enter and commit their work. We have both. We have some people who enter all the time and they don't ever get selected and then they probably drop off. We also have, the other side is we have filmmakers who create a reel out of this and graduate out of MoFilm, and go on to big production companies. And we're kind of probably one of the only companies I've heard of in the world that get very excited when our filmmakers leave us to go to big production companies. But what we're providing them with is a stage and an opportunity. So, you just word of mouth, it's growing every year. The number of filmmakers is growing exponentially because people want to do great work for great clients.
Okay, let me ask, are you going to, is Mo Films going to start in India in a big way? Are you going to offer special rates for Indian clients and agencies, or are you going to stick to the $125,000 rate going forward? Coke doesn't cost $1 in India, it costs 6 rupees or 7 rupees.
Right. I think we have a team here, Supan and Shapaji, who work with Indian clients, and it's all relative to the work. I think that, and that's for you to discuss with them. But we've been here for a couple of years, and we're getting real traction. And I think we should talk about the value of, as a local Indian brand has the opportunity to get filmmakers from all around the world.
If you have the budget, yeah, definitely. But we've recently for the Olive Crown Awards, which we did last week, the Indian International Advertising Association India chapter, along with Hangama, which is an online portal, we ran a contest, a green film contest. We didn't get enough entries. Okay, we wish we had got enough entries. So, which is why I was intrigued. Is it we're doing something wrong? Is it that our brief is not right, or whatever? So I don't know what the problem is.
Well, I think it's a combination. A lot of people do competitions. I think what it is our filmmakers are not a database; they're a community. We interact with them all the time. We give them money to help them, overcome expenses. And at the end of the day, it's building that, and it's building a trust. Like any community, you have to trust each other and share wins and successes. And also our grant system is very much guarantees that we get a certain amount of films. And that's been a big change for us. But, if I said to you as a brand, you could get a filmmaker to make you a film that can go on broadcast or run anywhere for $20,000, I think a lot of brands would be interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that expensive,
Absolutely.
Were the 3 brands that purchased a ticket here. And what we'd like to do is celebrate the filmmakers who we've flown here for the event and share with you their work and have a chat with them. Absolute were absolutely blown away with the entries, so much so that they've actually chosen over 10 films, but as a result of that, they've taken all the films back to Paris for head office to decide who the winner is. And we're not sure if it's the time frame or the time zone, but they haven't actually decided on the winner yet as they kind of start sharing this work with people around the world. So unfortunately, we won't be able to share with you the Absolute films. But what we will absolutely be able to do is share with you the Coca-Cola films. This film, which we love, and I think, hang on, technical change. This film that we love is called Coke Crazy for Happiness. And the brief, again, was very similar to the Valentine's Day brief. And this film was made, and I'd like to play it to you now. We'll play it now.
किसी का दिन बनाना खुशी यूं ही लुटाना अगर ये सब crazy है हाँ मैं crazy हूँ Yes I'm crazy I'm crazy 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 हाँ हाँ मैं crazy हूँ Yes I'm crazy I'm crazy 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 हाँ हाँ मैं crazy हूँ Crazy crazy हाँ हाँ मैं crazy हूँ
क्या आप दुनिया को खुश करने के लिए crazy हैं?
So, round of applause, winner of our Coke competition. And I'd like to call Sukriti Tyagi up here and AJ from Coca-Cola come up here to present the award. Matan, also welcome. AJ, here is the award. Could you present Sukriti and Matan with the award? One sec, guys. Don't go anywhere. So, AJ, tell me, why did you choose this film?
Well, first of all, it reaffirms our belief in the whole liquid and linked philosophy. We strongly believe that if an idea is not liquid enough, we won't have been able to express it the way we did first. And then when we requested all our partners to come forward and do the same for us, we saw real beauty in the genuineness and the originality of the concept. I really loved the way every bit of the idea has been captured in the way you've shot the film, in the way you've treated everything, and in the way everything has come together.
Very good. Now tell me, before I get on to our winning filmmakers, how will you use this film? Because at MoFilm, we generally believe we can make great content now and great ideas, but it's pointless unless it's used. So how will you use this film?
I think it's a fantastic question, and that's the reason why we are here. We've all spoken about conversations for the longest time, and I think we've been hearing that across industries, across geographies, across the world, that we will die if we don't create enough conversations as marketeers. But the most important bit about creating a conversation is to be able to make that conversation never die. We heard from the gentleman who spoke on behalf of Razorfish, that we need to be always on, and that's our mantra as well. Coca-Cola very strongly believes in the fact that the conversations have to, once they start, they shouldn't die. They should just keep going on and on and on. And to that extent, if our biggest bet is social, and if we don't use social to its actual potential, we won't be able to take the good work that you've created for us forward, and to be able to in turn generate conversations on top of the conversation that you're helping us create. So social is the big thing that we're going to go after to begin with. It's our start. We believe it's a great start, and I'm hopeful that we will see much more of it going forward from people like you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now over to you guys. First of all, congratulations. It's a wonderful film, and I think it's the authenticity of the film and the integrity of the film that I love so much. So these are always fun questions for me. So are you a full-time filmmaker, a production company filmmaker? So what do you do when you're not shooting films for MoFilm?
So I'm studying in NIT. I'm working on my diploma film, and
I'm also working in television, but like making short films and this kind of advertisement, this short format, like this is like quite an interesting format to work. So both of us, like, we simultaneously work on this kind of projects also.
We do this, we want to eventually do this, but then we do other things on the side, like assisting and a couple of other things. MoFilm is where we actually, step up and direct things and just do it all on our own.
I think that's great. I think one of the things that we hear from MoFilm directors all the time is that making stuff is just much more important than thinking about making stuff. And until you direct, you can't actually call yourself a director.
Yeah.
And so tell me about the shoot yourself. So how you just went out and shot it? How did you go about it?
So we had the script written because we applied for the grant and we got a certain amount of money to make the film. And we had the idea in place, but we're both in Bombay, so it's easier to shoot it in Ahmedabad. A couple of things like the movie projection. So we went to Ahmedabad. We shot there for 2 days, 1 night and 2 days, and then we came to Bombay and we shot a part of it in Bombay. So it was done in about 3 to 4 days, and wasn't properly planned, the shoot, because if it was properly planned, I think we could have finished it in 2. And yeah.
So look, I think it's a fantastic film, and again, that spirit of inventiveness that keeps coming through MoFilm directors. So congratulations, guys. Well done, and congratulations. We'll see you soon. Thanks a lot, AJ. What's that? What do you say again? You can take the mic and talk about it. Come back. Come back 1 sec. So the question was, I think, what did you shoot it on?
Yeah, we shot it on 5D Mark II, and we just rented out a couple of lenses. FCP on the laptop.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you know, as I said, MoFilm and Sukriti said that MoFilm gave them a little grant just to help them rent the camera or get some of the props and everything like that. And that's what's great. So, okay, so the next winner we've got is for Wonderworks. And Wonderworks, MoFilm, not only do we do brands, we very much believe that filmmaking and content can help change people's attitudes to great causes. And Wonderwork is a great cause. And Wonderwork is, I don't know if any of you know, but you'll find out, is an amazing thing that for an operation that can happen in 15 minutes can make a kid see again. So the brief here was, bring this to life, go and document stories so that you can share this miracle cure, literally miracle cure, to people all around the world to inspire them to donate a very little amount of money. So we're very proud to be involved with this cause.
लोग कहते हैं कि जन्नत यही है उस जन्नत से क्या फायदा है कि मेरा बेटा उस जन्नत को देख नहीं सके
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
जब से ये पैदा हुआ है जब से ये पर हमको मालूम नहीं पड़ी सर
Telling lies, open mouth.
जब इसको हम दिखाएंगे नहीं तो फिर इसको क्या मालूम पड़ेगी कि हमारी आंख में क्या था क्या नहीं था ये तो बच्चा है इसकी जीवन खराब हो जाएगा सर
कल ऑपरेशन कर देंगे दिखाई देने लगेगा कैटरेक्ट सर्जरी अपने आप में एक मेडिकल सर्जरी है 15 मिनट लगते हैं ऑपरेशन में ब्लडलेस सर्जरी है पट्टी खुलते ही पेशेंट को दिखाई देने लगता है हाँ इसमें जादू तो है
रोते नहीं है बस सौरभ क्या है ये बेटा
केला
केला है ठीक लो पकड़ो ये क्या है पेन है ठीक है शाबाश
I think that's an amazing film. So we'd like to call, I get goosebumps each time I see that. So we'd like to call up Siddharth Seth to the stage, and congratulations. And also Shivaji, gosh, can you come up and present the award? There's a law saying that I can't be the MC and present the award at the same time.
So Siddharth, this is not the first time for you. You have done MoFilm before, and won also as well. So, but this was different brief, right? It was a charity, and you had to actually shoot real people, that to children. So was it, how different was it from the rest?
I'd just like to introduce Charudat Rane. He's a cinematographer for the film, so I think he's just done an amazing job. And it was really very good to have some help on this one because we just wanted to just get out of our comfort zone, and we didn't have a clue. We just got the brief. We got in touch with these people. By the way, Kalyanam Karoti is the place where we shot this film. And if you want to see miracles being performed on a daily basis, you need to head out to Mathura. And we got to learn so much in this film. You know, we thought that polio was dead. We keep hearing that there's no polio. We saw it alive and kicking over there. And it's actually a miracle every minute in that hospital, in that charity. And it was just an amazing experience. We had no clue about what we're going to get into. We just took it as it came. And I'm based out of Dubai, as you know, so I flew down over a weekend and told Charu, you want to do this? He's like, I mean, are you crazy? I mean, where are we going to stay? What are we going to eat? I mean, we'll just, Mathura is a religious place. We'll just manage, So it was great fun. That was the best part.
Thanks. I specifically liked, of course, it's a miracle surgery, and you put the Vrindavan, the ISKCON people dancing. So love that part. Thank you.
I must say, guys, it's very ironic that a film is all about curing and allowing kids to see. Every one of us in the office who were teary-eyed and couldn't see a thing after watching the film. But to me, that's just a demonstration of the power of filmmaking and the power of telling great stories and its ability to move people in an emotional way and connect with people and tell great messages that need to be done. So, congratulations. These guys also made an amazing film for Diners Club about a Scrabble hall that is absolutely brilliant. And if any of you want to go and see the films, go onto MoFilm, www.mofilm.com. We have a Hall of Fame, and we have you can look at past competitions. But there's some super talented people out there that you can see up on these stage. Are two examples of that. So we welcome everyone to get involved and everyone to participate. So thanks for travelling down, and congratulations, beautifully shot. So thanks a lot. So that ends MoFilm evening tonight. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for having us here. And looking forward to all of you entering, and see you next time. Bye-bye. Say? The 10 what? No, unfortunately, MoFilm is a business-to-business model, as I mentioned. And what happens is that the films are, it's for the brand to have that comfort and that privacy until they release that they feel comfortable. And what happened with Absolute is that the brand loved them so much, they've taken them to head office, and until they clear them, unfortunately, we can't share with them. But go on to MoFilm and you'll be able to see them soon. Okay, thank you.